Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is Friday. Finally Friday, I should say. Welcome to it. Come on in. Sit a spell. We've got a million things to get to today. Number one, of course, the 12 cities that will see catastrophic damage by crippling United States winter storm. This is the first snowstorm we've ever had, my God. It is the very first one, and everybody should be terrified. I got to tell you, I'm from the Midwest. I lived in Minnesota before it became a hell on earth, a Somali meth lab trailer park. And so when it snows where I'm from, if it snows 15 inches, you go bowling. And it's like, whatever. No big deal. So I don't worry too much about it. But for bleeps and giggles, I decided I'd just go by Trader Joe's this morning. There's a Trader Joe's near me. And there's this product that I love that everybody loves. It's called Cowboy Caviar. Have you ever had it from Trader Joe's? It's this black bean corn salsa, right? And one of the guys who works here has never had it before. And so I said, all right, I'm going to stop by Trader Joe's and buy that guy some Cowboy Caviar because I don't want him to go through the rest of his life without having Cowboy Caviar from Trader Joe's. So I go in, and it is a friggin' madhouse. It is Godzilla attacking Tokyo in there. And I'm like, my God, this only place in the world is Washington, D.C. area, Northern Virginia, where people would go to Trader Joe's for their storm supplies. It's like, the last thing I'd want to be without is my heirloom tomatoes and my flatbread and tabbouleh. I mean, what the hell am I going to do without that? I better get my butt up to Trader Joe's. I mean, really, that's where you go? They don't even sell toilet paper there. What? A madhouse at Trader Joe's? Only in Northern Virginia would people be going to Trader Joe's to save their lives from the White Death that is coming. Oh, my God. So here are some of the 12 largest cities, and I don't want to take away from it because, somebody will screech at me for, not taking the storm seriously. But here's some of the 12 cities, and here's the headline. 12 cities that will see catastrophic damage by crippling U.S. winter storm. More than 230 million Americans bracing for severe weather. Maybe a lot of the illegals from south of the border have never seen snow, but no, I guess they actually left. So Oklahoma City, mighty pretty. Let's see, Dallas, Fort Worth, Little Rock. They do not, in either of those towns, all three of those towns, they don't know what the hell to do with snow. Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis's birthplace, Nashville. Okay, these are all cities that cannot deal with snow at all. Cincinnati, I lived there, worked at a radio station. No WKRP, but there is a WKRC, and it's a TV station. And if you watch WKRP with the tower, the radio tower, I worked under that. Yeah, anyway, Pittsburgh, they know how to deal with it. Charlotte, oh my God, Charlotte will be pandemonium. They'll be killing each other and consuming their own flesh. Richmond's, oh my God, Richmond, Virginia doesn't know what to do with snow. Washington, D.C., you have no idea. I was here when Snowmageddon happened in 2010, and I ended up staying in a hotel for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and my Hummer got stuck in the snow in front of my driveway. I've never gotten a car stuck in snow in my life. Are you kidding me? New York, you guys can handle it largely, unless you're Zoran Mondami and the little snowflake, cabinet members that he has. Boston can handle it, I guess. A lot of them can handle. But those are the people who are definitely in the line of death that is coming this weekend. And, listen, I got a little solar generator that I have, and I'm just going to plug it in, because you can plug it in without putting the solar panels out, just to charge it up and have it. Because I live in an apartment, I have no place to put the dang the panels. But here's some other ones. Historic winter storm so dangerous it could kill Americans sheltering inside their own homes. Flight carnage as airlines warn of mass cancellations at more than 50 airports. Oh, and the worst news of all. This is only for Democrats. Murder rate lower than it was in 1900. That's the bad news for Democrats. Donald Trump shutting down the southern border. Kash Patel increasing the numbers of arrests. We have the lowest murder rate since the year 1900.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning. Lots of winning. It's oh so good.
Yeah, there you go. So arrests by agents by the FBI surged 900%. In 2025, when they're not trying to find J6ers who are just on the Capitol grounds, they can do other stuff with their time. The FBI made 67,000 arrests in 2025, specifically from January 20th to January 20th, 26th. January 20th, what happened on January 20th? Oh, yeah, Donald Trump was inaugurated. That's what happened there. Versus just 22,000 in 2024 let's see, that represents an increase of 197%. We also see that homicides down 24%, carjackings down 43%, overdoses down 20%, murders down 20%. All bad news for the Democrat Party. They're going to be saying, well, how the hell are thieves going to make a living then? Honestly, how in the hell are thieves going to make a living? And yet another economist, this guy, John Lunsky. And, listen, I'm not an economist. All I know is that there are some things you can do that will make business go through the ceiling. Bring down the price of fuel and energy, decrease regulation, and decrease taxes. I know. Hey, listen, I got an economics degree.
I want to add that we economists were horribly wrong on the strength.
Yeah, honestly, you suck at what you do. You should do something else.
To the economy, especially in the second half of 2025. Many were looking for growth. No faster than 1.5%.
Yeah.
You point out 4.3% growth.
You mean like it was all the time that Barack Obama was the president?
In the third quarter,
yeah.
We want to also consider the fact that real consumer spending at 3.5% was far better than what you would expect.
Who would have seen this coming? Oh, yeah, this guy right here. There, yeah, right here. I saw it coming. And they're saying like over 5% GDP growth in the fourth quarter. And the only thing that would hold it back a little is the Democrat-caused shutdown of the government because they wanted to C-block Donald Trump's economy. Dan Bongino, who is returning to the broadcast airwaves, let's see, the beginning of February. In fact, it's going to be a great lead-in. He's on Rumble before me, 10 to noon, and then me, noon to 3. My God, could you even imagine a double dose of most excellentness like that? It's spectacular. Here's Dan Bongino.
And when you combine that with his focus on securing the border, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Oh, yeah, the border is securing and actually brought down crime. I know you're surprised because, I don't know, Venezuela sent all their prisoners up here.
The American people that the violent crime rate just fell to. I saw the murder rate is the lowest it's been since 1900.
Wow.
It's unprecedented. I mean, by definition, there's no modern precedent for that. Cash and I figured out very early on broken windows policing. If it could work in New York City with Rudy Giuliani, it could work nationally.
But don't worry, the Democrats are going to win both houses of Congress this year.
80% of violent street crime is committed by 0.5% of the population.
Yeah, that's true.
You go and get these dirtbags and these mutts off the street, these pieces of garbage.
These Democrat voters.
You use UFAP warrants, Vickers, RICO crime, gang statutes, any federal statute we could dig up. Trust me, we used it. We were very creative with how we use this stuff.
Yeah.
We got those
It's amazing what happens when you do something.
Agents out there rolling, and they were more than happy to go do it. When they picked these guys off the street, you know what? A lot of you don't know murderers out there.
Yep.
You don't, because there's not that many. So when you pick them off the street, that's what happened. And the president was all about it from day one.
Are you saying when you arrest the murderers that the murders go down? Oh, my God. You must got to get one of them economists there who's an expert on crime to do it. And here's some more. The media is very upset because everything that Donald Trump does, they are contrarian. Even it means bringing down murder and crime, murder to the lowest rate since 1900.
Axios, obviously left-leaning. Axios has this headline about the homicide rate being the lowest since the 1900s. 1800s.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. I start reading down the article. Like,
New York Times, they said in the, I guess the headline, I don't read the New York Times, said that they don't know how this happened.
well, there's 1,000 excuses as to why President Trump and his administration didn't do it. Meanwhile, I lived it. I know what we did and didn't do for these dumbasses, right? Same day, about an hour later, I see a New York Times headline.
Yes, listen.
Kash Patel's FBI has made America less safe. Do you dipwads even read your own headlines?
I know.
Are you that stupid?
Those ICE raids arresting murderers and rapists are making us less safe.
These are these media morons. People who've never spent a day wearing a badge, never kicked in a door, never arrested some...
going to Trader Joe's for their emergency supplies.
Child predator or some bank robber or some gang member. These morons don't know anything about the safety status of the country. The border's sealed. The military's never been stronger.
That's true.
under Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
And the FBI went out and just arrested a historic number of animals off the street, and the murder rate plunged.
Yeah.
This isn't hard to figure out. But the same day, murder rate's all-time low. The country's less safe. Do these people even hear themselves?
They do. They do. My dad had an expression, sometimes people just talk to hear their heads rattle. There's a whole lot of rattling when a Democrat starts talking. I'm going to tell you that. We got more news. Good news on the show today. Some post-coital Davos Davos convention, whatever the hell it is. We got some good stuff on that coming up on the show. We got Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal as well. New comedy from Jim Gossett as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. We are on the eve of death and destruction with a smile on our faces. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Winning and winning and never losing. Results that drive Nancy Pelosi to boozing. Chris Christie choking on buffalo wings. These are my favorite conservative things. Gas prices falling, inflation dropping. To our momentum, there is no stopping. An end to 8 wars, what joy that brings. These are a few of my favorite things. Reducing spending, securing the border, restoring faith in law and order, arresting a punk at a no kings. These are my favorite conservative things. When Chuck Schumer makes me nauseous, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember we're bombing drug votes and that I don't feel so bad. What can make us safer?
What could make us safer
In the hemisphere.
in the hemisphere?
What can force the Russians and Chinese to watch their rear? Greenland.
Greenland,
Oh yes, Greenland can.
Greenland can.
We'd like to buy it and make it so much better, like we said we would. A deal I'd like to make, I don't want to take Greenland with the military. Hope that isn't necessary. A conflict there would be quite scary. What could be strategic
What could be strategic
to the USA?
to the USA?
Come to the table, Denmark, we could make a deal today for Greenland.
Greenland,
You should sell us Greenland.
Sell us Greenland.
Sell us Greenland because a hefty price we are prepared to pay. After we own Greenland, the Panama Canal will also be in play.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
And it's a historic presidency because the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is someone who is not limited by what others say is possible.
Really?
Or what others say is impossible.
That's
People
true.
thought what was happening in Gaza was impossible to solve.
Oh, yeah.
28 hostages that were dead, others that were still living, all these hostages that were being held. No one thought that that would ever come to a resolution without more fighting and more bloodshed along the way. In fact, frankly, many thought it was intractable. And sadly, many of the institutions that have served us well, in many cases, for the last 70 years, were unable to do anything about it. But President Trump had the vision and the courage to dream the impossible, to believe that it was doable, and to pursue it with all of his heart.
Yeah, isn't that amazing what happens when you actually do something? It's pretty remarkable. He definitely needs the 25th Amendment. I mean, honestly, he is really nuts. He is incompetent. Oh, my God. Oh, the Democrat Party. You people are so pathetic. Trump's first year is his second term marks historic successes in immigration. I had forgotten about the Israeli hostages. He got those too. You see, Joe Biden said he couldn't do that. He also said he had no way to close that southern border, and Donald Trump was able to do it on his own. He signed Donald Trump 225 executive orders. ICE arrests have increased from 300 to more than 1,000 a day. Criminals from countries like Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, and El Salvador. Have you ever noticed that you never, like when it says Paris, you don't say Paris, or when it's, like Russia, you don't go Moscow. You ever know? It's kind of stupid. Net negative immigration was achieved for the first time in 50 years. 100% of net job growth has gone to native-born Americans. That's so racist. My God, they're so racist. Apprehensions at the southern border fell to historic levels with only 90,000 in the first year, less than the monthly average under Biden. GDP grew from 4.3% in the third quarter 2025, and they eliminated more than 270,000 unnecessary federal jobs. You had to get a job like the rest of us. $287 billion was collected in tariffs. You know, honestly, if he were competent, can you imagine? And he were sane, could you imagine how good things would be? Oh, my God, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Last night, Jesse Waters, he's been echoing some of the things that I say about a year later. And I'm not meaning to slam him. I just, he just does. He just does. And here's something I've been saying for the last year and a half. I said, no, actually, it's closer to 2 years. When Donald Trump becomes the president, a wave of freedom and patriotism and entrepreneurship and faith will sweep the globe.
When Donald Trump was elected president of the United States, everything changes. Yeah. We're in a moment of radical change.
Yes.
These moments come maybe like once a century.
Easily.
AI, the Arctic,
yes.
Trade, China, it's all happening. And America's taking the lead. Iranian nukes, Maduro, Gaza. Yeah. Now the Cuban communist regime might be about to collapse.
Wow.
NATO's back together. The TikTok deal just went through. The Taiwan trade deal just got papered. And the border peace, licking its chops, wondering how to price seaside condos on the Mediterranean.
Yeah, he definitely needs the 25th Amendment or to be impeached because, he's doing such a terrible job. He's remarkable. Just remarkable. And I tell you, I told you this is going to happen. This is going to be the greatest year we've seen. It's the 250th anniversary of America. This is serendipitous. This is the yin and the yang, baby. This is the yang, baby. This is the reaction to the action, and I knew it was going to happen. This is Javier Milei. One of the things that's sweeping across Latin America is freedom and Trumpism, and this guy is just like Trump. He's got a totally hot girlfriend, and his hair is really crazy. And he was speaking about how the world is awakening to freedom.
For some time now, and for some strange reason, the West began to turn its back on the ideas of liberty. That is why in this same place in 2024, I stated that the West was in danger as a result of having embraced increasing doses of socialism in its most hypocritical form.
I know it's kind of stupid. It's still going on in New York City and Seattle and Minneapolis here.
Wokeism. In turn, in 2025, I explained the mental parasites sown by the left in humanity. However, 2026 is the year in which I bring you good news.
Yeah, what?
The world has begun to awaken.
I know.
The best proof of this is what is happening in the Americas with the rebirth of the ideas of liberty. Therefore, the Americas will be the beacon of light that will once again illuminate the entire world.
Cuba's next.
Thereby repaying the civilizational debt with expressions of gratitude towards the foundations in Greek philosophy, Roman law.
I like this guy. He was the one who stood on stage at CPAC last year with Rob Schmidt from Newsmax and whipped out a big old chainsaw and talked about Doge. And then, of course, the left freaked out because they knew their gravy train was coming to an end, so they had to go out and buy and pay for some protests against Elon Musk and his car dealerships and burn some cars and everything. So, oh, by the way, I was trying to invest in Tesla robotics because there's a good chance that if you're my age, in about 20, 25 years, your caregiver is going to be a robot. And I absolutely mean that. It's going to happen. Your caregiver is going to be a robot. There's a real good chance that your caregiver could be a robot. And so I was like trying to maybe consider investing in Tesla robotics, but you can't invest in Tesla robotics. You just got to buy Tesla stock. Tesla stock is like $450 a share, so I'm going to be passing on the Tesla stock for now, but there you go. Here's a little bit more good news. This is Howard Lutnick talking about Donald Trump's tariffs and how they work.
And as soon as we stopped and he put on tariffs, what happened? Imports went way down. Our exports go way up, and our GDP, the growth of our economy, hits 4.3% in the third quarter, just like we said it was. And let me tell you, this quarter, the one we're sitting in right now, we will have over 5%. So
easy.
The world's largest
I'll bet it'll be 6
economy will be the fastest growing economy in the whole wide world.
It is.
Because Donald Trump said, I'm sick and tired of exporting our growth to the rest of the world. Let's bring it home. Let's drive our employment. Let's drive our workers' wages. Let's be the greatest economy.
I know. And when was the last time you saw American made on a product label? You usually see made in China, made in Taiwan, all of that stuff. Isn't that just remarkable? Here is Donald Trump talking about the Davos trip and how successful it was.
I think the trip was great. We had a lot of good response, even from the fake news.
Yeah.
And I think Greenland's going very well. It's in negotiation. And I think what we did today was great.
It was great. And, of course, we got Greenland. And Greenland, everybody was all upset about it. And now it turns out Donald Trump was right.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully.
This is the beginning of the Davos.
Greenland have been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years.
Yeah.
It's an integrated part of our country.
Yeah.
It is not for sale.
Okay.
Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, off.
As I said, we are ready to discuss a lot of things, and we are ready to negotiate a better partnership and so on. But sovereignty is a red line.
There you go. So on Monday it was F you Trump, and now it's, hey, did we say anything? I tell you what, come on in. Set up some bases and whatnot. That's perfectly fine. Let's take a break and come back. Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal, always an awesome guest on a Friday. Do not go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of t-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
To the town of Portland I said in the guard, Antifa, they are gonna get you hard. To Democrat mayors getting in my way, go ahead punks and make my day. F around and find out, F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil neck and Chris Ray, for your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out. Hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. You know, one of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is all the real stories like Sandra's. She tells us, I'd been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, finally decided to try it because nothing else has helped my back pain. With a 3-week quick start, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. Those are Sandra's own words, and it's just so gratifying to hear. I've experienced that kind of relief myself, and knowing folks like Sandra out there are feeling better makes it all worth it. Try it for yourself with a 3-week quick start. See how Relief Factor could be a game changer too. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do, and we'll do it in conjunction with the United Nations. You know, I've always said the United Nations has got tremendous potential, has not used it. On the 8 wars that I ended, I never spoke to the United Nations about any of them.
Good.
About the formation of the peace summit, and I was like, is that PIEC? A little piece of Greenland, a little piece of Venezuela.
That is
Elon Scott Gutfeld writing his jokes.
There you go. That is Donald Trump and Elon Musk. A glorious Davos summit where we gave him a little what for. It was kind of like Kurt Russell in Tombstone riding into Tombstone to take on the Clancy brothers. Anyway, it was just a lot of fun. There's just a lot of good stuff happening in the world, and bad news for Democrats too. Bad news that the murder rate is the lowest since the year 1900. What tragic news for the Democrat Party. Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal also does a great radio show at WIBC in Indianapolis, Indiana. Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Fantastic. It may be cold, but I got to say, this news cycle is full of the hottest nonsense I have ever seen in my entire life.
It is so good. And so let me just start off by asking you if you are in the path of the White Death.
Of course.
Yeah. Indianapolis is going to get hammered?
A little bit. I mean, maybe not hammered. Maybe just slightly sloshed and stumbling home at 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. All right. So, what do you think of the Davos summit? He goes in. He says that he's gonna take Greenland. They get their panties in a bunch. Even the men in the EU, they wear panties. And then at the end of it, they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind." Would you say mission accomplished?
I'd say this. I'd say that the President of the United States appears to be doing 2 things right now. Number one, distracting the entire world from the Iranian situation, which is about to be. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I think he made a lot of hullabaloo. Normally, when the president makes real hullabaloo, you have Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio, and they come out and go, all right, everybody, settle down. That didn't happen this time.
No.
So either that's what's coming, or, number 2, the president wants precious rare earth mineral access in Greenland, and he does the same dang thing he does every time he negotiates.
Yes.
I think it's that.
Comes in hot, and then they freak out, and then he can just offer something else. And by the way, you use the word hullabaloo, which is still very popular in the Midwest. In fact, I think they're also the names of some social dances they have on Saturdays. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah, you betcha there. We get us a good shindig and a hullabaloo going, and you're never going to want to leave.
Now you got that Minnesota accent going. You know, there's nothing more satisfying than BLM protesters being perp walked. That was marvelous. It was almost as good as watching these anti-ICE protesters get pepper sprayed. What do you think about the church raiders getting arrested, and then of course Don Lemon being let off the hook because the judge apparently his wife works in Keith Ellison's office?
So first and foremost, you and I, we sit down, we write our shows out. We're like, hey, here are the things I'm going to talk about. Here are the clips. Here are the sound clips, the video clips I'm going to play. And I started looking at, coming in from the weekend, this situation where these churchgoers were harassed. It was going to be maybe 15, 20 minutes of coverage on the show, and then I saw the children crying, and it became the entire show.
Oh, yeah.
And I focused on covering every angle that we can on this week because this stuff will happen in more places. Don Lemon, he thinks he's off the hook because some magistrate judge's wife is, doing the old Kamala Harris with Keith Ellison. But maybe that's inappropriate to say. I don't care. But in this case, I'd say he's not out of the woods yet.
No.
But I didn't even realize this until someone pointed it out. That William Crazy
Kelly,
dude arrested, he had personally called me before in D.C. We have the footage.
Really?
I've blown this man a kiss before, so I'm going to go to his trial and smoke a cigar right outside the building.
Oh, I love it. Here's Don Lemon. This is not a good idea because that William Kelly guy the other day taunted Pam Bondi, called her the C word. I mean, a typical classy act, like that Capitol Hill cop yesterday in Congress. But here's Don Lemon with an amazing act of hubris, which is really stupid.
Look, I stand proud and I stand tall. This is not a victory lap for me because it's not over. They're going to try again, and they're going to try again.
Oh, boy.
And guess what? Here I am. keep trying.
Wow.
That's not going to stop me from being a journalist. You're not going to diminish my voice. Go ahead, make me into the new Jimmy Kimmel if you want.
Whatever.
Because I'm not going anywhere, and I'm going to believe this.
See, he thinks this is the greatest thing in the world because people are finally talking about him.
Listen to it. Listen to him aiming high there. Make me the next Jimmy Kimmel.
I know.
You're already gay. Do you really want blackface on top of that? Really?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And by the way, did you know also, this is kind of cool. I was seeing, I think it was, Greg Jarrett talking last night about, they're talking about the FACE Act and everything. And, invading a church is, goes against the FACE Act and all that. But when you tie in some of these people saying that they're there to shame the white people, then you bring race into it. So this is kind of like, Democrats in the 1920s in black Southern churches. You tack race on that puts them in a whole different level of trouble.
So one of the comments over on your Rumble stream has quite an interesting point here. Again, they have journalists with a question mark. And, that is the question here. When you get into this church building and then you start being part of the harassment, you're no longer journalisming, folks. That's not how it works.
You
want to say...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, no, finish your thought, and I got some audio I want you to hear. Go ahead.
So when you bust into the building, let's say that I'm, standing there and I'm filming two men trying to rob a house in Chicago. Let's call these guys Harry and Marv.
Okay.
And then I decide to go in and rob stuff as well while I'm on camera.
Yes.
I'm no longer journalisming there, bud.
Yes.
That's not how it works.
Yes, journalisming. Here's Don. Are you ready for this? He bought the protesters coffee and donuts.
Don Lemon is on the front lines right now.
Thank you.
Follow Don Lemon. He ain't on CNN no more, so he right here in the front line.
Tell me to come get some coffee.
Hey, Don Lemon got some coffee for y'all.
And donuts.
And donuts.
Yeah, that's journalism there is what it is.
That's exciting. Just hot tip here. You know that I'm very big on this when it comes to, mortgage fraud.
Yes.
If you're going to get out there and commit some crimes.
Yes.
First of all, go down to Mexico and murder a couple cartel members. At least make it fun. But if you're going to get out there and commit some crimes, whatever, I highly recommend that you don't do the admission of guilt on camera or in the document.
Yeah.
Don Lemon getting out there and going, I had no idea where we were going. And you look at the video that he published online for it. All right, guys, we're getting ready to go storm the church. I mean, I can't tell you where we're going.
I know. Here, a little bit more of this.
And he ain't talking about police.
When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution, when you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was...
This doesn't sound like journalism.
Yeah, I remember the Civil Rights Movement when Dr. King stormed churches.
Yes.
Started harassing children. Oh, yes. Things that didn't happen for 500, Alex.
God. Now, we've got a bunch more stuff to get to, because the news cycle and all, and some bad journalism. But we're going to cover that on the other side of the break. We are talking to the one and only Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal. More coming up on The Rob Carson Show.
PM.
The Treasury Secretary described you as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken. The White House Communications Director.
That was the U.S. Secretary of Treasury.
I have a couple more, and then you can respond. The White House Communications Director called you Gavin Newsom. Do you think? Should you? I mean, is that kind of discourse from you, from them, good for America?
No, it's deeply unbecoming.
Oh, it's deeply unbecoming. That is Gavin Newsom, who, I mean, looked smaller by the day in Davos. He showed up like he's something, and he got. It would be like if I showed up at Davos. I'd get about as much stage time as he got. Tony Kinnett, did you watch this guy? He goes over. He picks a fight with Trump. Trump was actually being cool. He's like, you know what? And then he ends up just making a complete fool of himself because he wants to be the president of the United States. I think he's destroyed himself, to be honest.
I think that he's desperate for attention.
Yeah.
And when you follow the president of the United States to Davos, you go to make a big scene. And, I mean, again, you can make the case, well, America, big economy, tech stuff, venture capitalism, okay. You want to make that case, sure. But then when you follow that up by suggesting that everything is encouraging Europeans and other world leaders to act against the foreign policy interests of the United States, you've shut your own self out of the program. There is no foreign policy right of a governor to act against the interests of the federal government. That's not a right you have.
Yeah, and then he did this yesterday. This is him, and honestly, when you look at what he's done to California, calling Donald Trump unpopular versus him is pretty ridiculous.
I want you to know, Donald Trump is an historic president. That's absolutely correct. He's historically unpopular in the United States of America in every category. He's underwater.
No, actually, his approval rating has just gone up, and Rasmussen knocking on 50%'s door, which is higher than Barack Obama at this time in his presidency.
I don't know what they think they're going to get out of this, though. I mean, we've tried this all before. Yeah. At some point, they're going to have to actually shift their focus towards Congress. They think they're like, we're going to get out there and we're going to go after Trump. Never tried that strategy before. And they're the ones who suggested we're very focused on affordability and on health care, and they've ruined it all by getting distracted. It's usually something the Republicans do. So seeing the Democrats do this in midterm year is a little bizarre.
Well, where's affordability now? They're not talking about affordability now. Then they moved on to Renee Good in Minneapolis. Then they moved on to something else. It's going to be something else next month. They do this all the dang time. Oh, it was the 5-year-old getting arrested in Minneapolis. Then they find out Dad ran away and left the kid there with the cops.
It's just like Kilmar Garcia. We just did this. It's like, wow, this Maryland father and husband arrested, and it's like, well, yeah, he also beat his wife and endangered the kid. Okay, we're ready to move on. And you can always tell, and I noticed this. This is something that popped into my head. I couldn't believe it, just seeing it play out in real time. That right after this video had gone viral of Democrats harassing children in a Minneapolis church.
Yes.
It took about 3.5 seconds for them to start going, ICE is arresting children or something. I think
know.
so, maybe.
I know. They are doing a death spiral into hell, and as you know, I like to say they die like movie vampires. They are grabbing and kicking and screaming and gnashing their teeth and trying to come up with something to drag us into hell with them, and we're not going our way. Did you watch Jack Smith's colonoscopy yesterday?
I've said it. Brandon Gill has been on the show a couple of times. Yes. We're going to have him back again as soon as we can.
Who?
That man.
Who?
Brandon Gill.
Oh, God.
Brandon
I met him the other day. He kicks arse. Oh, my God. He's fantastic. Go ahead.
I mean, seriously, this man has a better... This is what you know me. I'm like CVS. I got the receipts.
Yes.
I like to cite the receipts. And so when I see a congressman actually cite things and then point things out directly and box him in, now follow this up with a referral to the DOJ for prosecution. That's step number 2.
Yes.
But for right now, I'll be happy with it.
And he also looks like Christopher Reeves back in the day on the first Superman. He does look like that. He could be the next Superman. Dude, he's even got the curl. He's even got the one curl there. He's Superman, dude. He is.
You know what? I'll allow it. I'm giving you 3 bonus points for that. That's a good spot there.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I got a story from your neck of the woods. Purdue University has begun to curb the flow of Chinese graduate students to Indiana campuses. The policy follows pressure from Congress and President Donald Trump for U.S. institutes to monitor Chinese scholars. I think they should call it Operation Chinese Takeout.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
I waited all night for that one.
Yeah, not a policy you'd get from any general so-and-so. But as far as Purdue University is concerned, big engineering school, I mean, again, people don't realize Northern Indiana produces like a third of this nation's military equipment. One third. Most Humvees come from Northern Indiana.
Wow.
And so when you have Purdue, which is a major defense contractor incorporated school, and you have a bunch of students who send things back home to Beijing.
Yes.
If this doesn't sound the alarm, or I guess with a China, if it doesn't sound the gong for you,
the gong.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean,
this is the fastest pullout since Eric Swalwell and Fang Fang. I mean, it's again been waiting all night to deliver that one.
Wow. Or should I say Mao?
Mao. Oh, my God. Fantastic. All right, so we got to wrap things up. We wish you the very best with the White Death. Tell everybody about when your show is on, because I check it out all the time. I watch you. I chime in every once in a while when you're on there, and you occasionally invite me, and I can't get on because of computer issues at home. But tell everybody where people can find your stuff.
Whether you're on Rumble or YouTube, you can head over to the Daily Signal unless you're in our syndication market. The Tony Kinnett cast will be ready for you, 7 p.m. Eastern.
All right, brother. Have a glorious weekend. Always awesome to have you on. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Oh, my God. Hey, guys. Is he funny? Bong, meow. He is. He's my favorite guest. He's my favorite guest. America Marcia says you got a brand new generator, needs oil. You know what I saw this morning on Facebook Marketplace? A very nice snowblower. They had it listed for $100. I don't even need a snowblower, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. I wanted to tell the guy, dude, $500. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Anyway. Just funny. Look who's watching over on Facebook. Rob and Tony are on a roll. I know, right? Just freaking hilarious. Hold on, I gotta text him. Oh, that was a stream of consciousness. That was hilarious. Oh my God. Anyway. Anyway, Tony is spectacular. Hello, Lindsay. What's going on? Be sure to apply chapstick, Richard Davis. Are we talking about Gavin Newsom here? Are we talking about knee pads here? Is that what we're talking about? Who's watching on the Rumbly Roo? Valentina. How are you? My hubby liked Rush Limbaugh. I told him that Rob wrote for Rush Limbaugh, talent on loan from God. Yeah, and all of the comedy on Rush's show is mine now. It's my comedy. I wrote it before. This is the same comedy that was on Rush Limbaugh's program, and it's just not being played on Rush Limbaugh's program. Thought you should know. Yeah. All right, I got to talk here. Hotlines. Greg Jarrett. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How about we got it? No, I'm not going to be able to get all this right now.
310 here. Actually, 410, sorry.
So Gavin Newsom, honestly, what a grotesque individual. What a slimy sleazeball. He goes over to Davos thinking that he's going to be treated like royalty. He's still just the governor of a state in the United States. He's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a phenom. Donald Trump is the most famous man in the world. Donald Trump leads the most powerful military and the most powerful economy in the world. And this putz with greasy hair shows up like he's going to give Donald Trump a little what for. Looks like an idiot. Here he is, being obscene with Donald Trump, saying he got the Trump knee pads for all. He goes to Davos and tells all the world leaders that they're down on their knees orally pleasing Donald Trump. That's a good idea. Then he can't understand why he wasn't invited to the party with the United States.
You're running around distributing knee pads to CEOs, and I think it does.
Handing them out.
And it does.
I do have a few if you'd like. I don't know.
I'll bet you do.
And honestly, it sounds.
By the way, I'm not kidding. They're the new Trump signature series knee pads.
That's funny.
Yeah, and they are available online. I told you the last one sold out. And I just want to sort of. It's a serious moment. It actually, but we laugh. Anyway, these are available and in bulk too. I was going to speak last night. It was a well-established event at the USA House. Simple conversation, discussion.
Yeah.
After Trump's speech, they made sure that I didn't. They made sure it was canceled. And that's what's happening in the United States of America.
Yeah, you know why? Because you're a D word for Richard. That's why when you behave like an idiot, you get disinvited. I mean, he looked so small on the world stage. My God. All right, you better sit down for this. And I do mean it. Gold is $8 from $5,000 an ounce. Gold is $49.82 an ounce right now. You want to hear some more? Silver just broke $100. Silver just broke $101 right now. Gold is $8 away from $5,000. Last year it was $2,600, and you didn't get on board. Maybe it's time to text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. They, I think it was MSN or something saying, hey, by the end of the year, it could be at $5,400. You're high if you think it's only going to be $5,400. If you look at the trajectory of gold in the last year, you're looking at $10,000 gold by the end of the year. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying if you look at the track from last year to this year, what are you doing? Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Still eligible for a rebate up to $10,000 as a first-time buyer. That deal ends in 7 days. The end of the month. $4,982 per ounce for gold. Oh, my goodness. $101 on silver. You want to buy precious metals. There is only one company that I would consider because they have my money. Birch Gold. Text Rob to 989898. We got much more coming up. I want to get into the latest. They tried to make the next thing was going to be ICE arresting a 5-year-old, and they were bringing the shame storm on everybody for doing that. Guess what? Turns out the 5-year-old was with Dad, and Dad ran and left his son, abandoned his son to ICE to take care of him. Yeah, so we got that. We've got lots going on in New York with corruption. Arrests are coming and whatnot. And Mary Walter joins us next hour as well as new comedy from Jim Gossett. Don't go anywhere. WCBM.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Welcome to it as White Death sweeps across the country. I'm not meaning to make light of snow, but dear God, it's not the first time it snowed. And there's going to be some big snow. I've been through some big snows. We had 4 years of a snow job with Joe Biden. Hey, I just came up with that. That was pretty smart, right? So, because, he tried to tell us that he didn't have dementia and stuff. That's part of a snow job, and tried to tell us that Hunter Biden's laptop wasn't real. And Russia collusion was real. It was a snow job. It was a snow job. 4 years of a snow job with a presidency that was rigged and stolen. There you go. But you know what? Here's the problem. Karma's a B word, right? Because Donald Trump became the president again because we knew that election was rigged. And we never gave up. Why even have the primary? We know. I actually told Vivek Ramaswamy in person, who are you going to vote for? I said, Vivek. Oh, Vivek. Of course I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And nothing personal, but your candidacy is folly. And he knew it. He knew it. He knew that this was to get his name out there, and that's all fine and everything. I met him at one of the Benny Media stations in Concord, New Hampshire. Beautiful. My God, a beautiful studio. It's an old school building. And Benny Media came in and made it into a broadcast complex that is spectacular. It's right across the street from a massive group of Democrat voters. In other words, a large cemetery. It's right there. It's really cool, and Jack Heath is the captain of the ship over there. He's a great guy. But anyway, what the hell was I talking about? We were talking about, what's going on in the world, the White Death and everything. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Some really good stuff came out of Davos that you don't know about. Top business leaders in Davos issue an expletive-laced message on the green backlash. Top business leaders at the World Economic Forum delivered an expletive-laden message on the green backlash because Donald Trump has shown the world that the green energy is a scam. And he said it, on his speech over the week. He said, well, you know what? We're buying all these windmills. China doesn't have any windmills. China just selling them to you at exorbitant prices. You fools. And it comes as a deep concern that business are increasingly shying away from climate action because it's a frickin' joke. It's a joke. Now the United States have gone hard for fossil fuels. It kind of made anyone going for renewables feel like they're woke, and they are. They're not looking after shareholders. Honestly, I'm here to tell all of Davos that it's not correct, Andrew Forrest, founder of the mining giant Fortescue, told MSNBC. Yeah, and it's all falling apart. It's all falling apart because, and listen, if you own a lot of green energy stock, tough bleep said the kitty, because, windmills are bird salad shooters and unreliable, and solar doesn't have the capacity to do anything to keep you warm and stuff. That's all there is to it. If it were up to solar power to keep you warm during the snowstorm that's about to hit, you'd freeze to death. So there you go. This is what we do. The CEO of Allianz, one of the biggest insurers, said it was integral for business and political leaders to stay the course on necessary energy, green energy nonsense. This is what we do at Allianz. We said 2050 is net zero. Let's not try to say, I need to do it already by 2035. Bullcrap, excuse my language. No, we're never going to be net zero. It's a stupid thing to do. You cannot just produce energy and not produce any carbon. And honestly, have you noticed how green the plants are? We got a little bit more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and if the temperature's gone up a half a degree, it's gone up a half a degree, but it's natural because, see, you got this giant ball of helium burning in the sky. I don't know if you knew that. When Mars solar ice caps retreat, so do ours. But a whole lot of gullible people fell for the nonsense. And Donald Trump has exposed the thing. It's kind of funny. It was funny. Let's see. I'm trying to find the soundbite I have here. Hold on. Howard Lutnick said he was only booed one time when he was in Davos.
Set of talks where someone said we need a new form of capitalism, which I think is another way to say communism. Mm-hmm. And then they let me speak at the end. And I gave a 3-minute talk. Yeah. And I just talked about my op-ed. And at the end of my talk, one person out of the 200 yelled out, "Boo!"
Was it Gavin Newsom?
So I look over and I'm like, "Who booed?" And it's Al Gore. And I look at him, I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Boo." And I'm like, it was the greatest honor of my trip to Davos. I mean, what's better than Al Gore? Incapable of discourse, incapable of anything. And you all remember that Al Gore told us that by today in 2025, the whole ice cap would be gone and Greenland would be green.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That is exactly. Boy, that was good. That just made me smile. Holy crud. Then there's the German chancellor. You always kind of weird when you hear those two words together. It's a little scary, right? German Chancellor Friedrich Merz saying that the EU is a failure.
We are aware of those problems. Both Germany and Europe have wasted incredible potential for growth in recent years by dragging feet on reforms and unnecessarily and excessively curtailing entrepreneurial freedoms and personal.
Yes, because they're looking in America and the $18 trillion that's coming in, and then we've imposed the tariffs, and now when manufacturing is returning here, and they're going, holy crap, they had a 4.4% GDP in the third quarter last year, knocking on 5.5%, 6% in the fourth, and then the first quarter of this year, maybe even going higher than that.
Responsibility. We are going to change that now. Security and predictability take precedence over excessive regulation and misplaced perfection. We must reduce bureaucracy substantially in Europe.
Might want to shut down those borders and get rid of the radical Islamists.
The single market was once created to form the most competitive economic area in the world. But instead, we have become the world champion of over-regulation.
Isn't that fantastic?
That has to end.
Isn't that? That's the German chancellor, for God's sake. That's amazing. I told you, 2026. It's only the 23rd of January. It's going to be the greatest year we've ever seen. It is going to. Donald Trump talking on Air Force One. There's a giant flotilla of boats heading over toward the Middle East, and hopefully they're going to deliver a colonoscopy through the Ayatollah.
You know, we have a lot of ships going that direction, just in case. We have a big flotilla going in that direction, and we'll see what happens. We have a big force going toward Iran. I'd rather not see anything happen, but we're watching them very closely. I saw 837 hangings on Thursday.
Yep.
They would have been dead. Every one of them would have been hung. This is like from 1,000 years ago. This is an ancient culture.
Yeah.
Very smart people, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's an ancient culture. 837, mostly young men, were going to be hung on Thursday. And I said, if you hang those people, you're going to be hit harder than you've ever been hit.
Yep.
It'll make what we did to your Iran nuclear look like peanuts. And an hour before this horrible thing was going to take place, they canceled it. And they actually said they canceled it. They didn't postpone it. They canceled it. So
there you go. And it's given just enough time for us to get our flotilla in place. There you go. So there was a report out of Minneapolis that a 5-year-old had been arrested by ICE. It's preposterous. And you knew they're looking for the next thing because that whole Renee Good thing is already over. So listen to ABC News. I mean, honestly, ABC News, their audience is very tiny. And thank goodness, because this is ridiculously skewed propaganda without any sort of factual confirmation or a challenge to the narrative.
In the meantime, to the other news tonight, the growing outrage in Minneapolis.
That's David Manure.
The images of a 5-year-old boy returning home from preschool, detained by ICE. Agents taking the boy and his father into custody. Vice President J.D. Vance in Minneapolis today, defending ICE agents, claiming they were protecting the child, saying, what are they supposed to do? Matt Rivers in Minneapolis.
Yeah. That's what he said, but he's going to skip past it to go to they hope will fly.
Minneapolis again tonight.
Tonight, the haunting images sparking a firestorm. A preschool boy standing in the Minnesota cold, swept up in the ICE crackdown. School officials say 5-year-old Liam, wearing his blue hat and backpack, and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, had just pulled into their suburban Minneapolis driveway Tuesday when agents took that father into custody. The school then saying an agent essentially used the 5-year-old as bait, directing him to see if anyone else was
then use the kid as a battering ram to knock down the school door
home before taking the boy away. The district saying Liam is among 4 students recently detained.
The sense of safety in our community and around our schools is shaken,
Karen.
and our hearts are shattered.
Got it, Karen. Go feed your cats.
And honestly, at the end of the day, children should be in school with their classmates.
They should. Here's ICE Director Todd Lyons.
The target of this operation was this boy's father. They went to pull the car over, and the father ran. He abandoned that child. So our officer...
Wow, he abandoned his son faster than my dad did when I was 7.
There's an agent. They stayed behind with that poor 5-year-old who was frightened at the time because his dad just took off and ran. We caught the dad.
Could have been worse. Could have used him as a human shield.
Took both of them into custody. You know, the dad opted to go and be removed with his son, which is what ICE wants. We want families to return back to their home country on their own, right, together as a family unit. We didn't separate it. We didn't put them in, foster care or anything like that. But again, now we're turning it out that ICE is arresting kids at schools. ICE is arresting kids at daycare. This 5-year-old's left out in the cold. Absolutely not.
Man, that narrative melted pretty quickly, didn't it? Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Greenland's a country we should buy. You know I'm really gonna try. Buy in Greenland something we should do, or slap another tariff on the EU. Denmark, it's really time to sell. We promise to treat Greenland well. Greenland, it would be quite a prize. Mineral rich and really big in size. The ice, so nice. Much land, it's grand security. A great strategy. Greenland we should buy.
When you're a man who calls himself a girl, it can be a bonus. When you compete with women, you have to hide. Ooh, that pair of cojones. I can cycle against the girls, that's my choice. I can steal their medals with this manly voice, 'cause the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel, the left makes me feel like a transgender woman. When I compete with females, I'm the one that's feared, 'cause I'm the only person in the race with a beard. But somehow I feel the left makes me feel, they make me feel like a transgender woman.
battery joint. Okay.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
The federal report today predicted possible catastrophic warming of the Earth by the 1990s with a strong climate change. I'm Jessica Savage in New York.
That is from 1985. There you go. And here's John Stossel talking about where the origins of climate change came from.
The origins go back to the 1980s and the UN Environmental Program.
Yeah.
Some UN officials had a specific agenda.
Anti-capitalism. They hated the oil companies, and they seized on the climate change issue as one to move their policies along.
The UN created what's called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Yeah.
The IPCC wasn't supposed to focus on any benefits of warming. The IPCC's mandate was to look for dangerous human-caused climate change.
Obviously, if you're only looking for risk, that's what you'll find.
Yeah. Then the national funding agencies directed all the funding in the field.
If you say we're all going to die and we got to spend a ton of money on this, you get funding. If you say we don't know, you don't get funding?
No. It's more subtle than that. The announcements of opportunity for funding are really tied to assuming that there are dangerous impacts.
So the researchers aren't stupid. They know what they need to say to get funding.
There you go. Hold on. The air is as breathable as it was the day I was born. It's kind of weird. It's like it was all a big lie. Of course it was a big lie. Like this 5-year-old getting arrested by ICE in Minneapolis. But, of course, the white liberal Karens were more than willing to shame storm.
So now ICE is using a 5-year-old boy. A 5-year-old boy. They took him and used him to lure his father out. And now they
used him as a human shield and a battering ram.
Detained them both. The family doesn't know where they are. This is the worst of the damn worst. This is not humanity in Minnesota, folks. If you can look at this 5-year-old.
God. Can you ladle the guilt on anymore? My God. If I was married to that, I would be so gone.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Oh, my God.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Here's J.D. Vance.
And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien.
Yeah, I know.
And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran.
Yeah.
So the story is...
Young, kid. Bye. See ya. He left his kid there. Can you imagine this kid at 18th birthday party? He's hanging around Dad, and he finds some footage of Dad abandoning him to run from ICE. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, what about this? Have another piece of cake, son." Oh my God, so funny. Everything they do, they do a faceplant. It is just so funny. Just so funny. Let's move on to these church arrests in Minneapolis. Of course, Don Lemon says he's not going to be, he's tempting Pam Bondi. He's tempting her to arrest him and all of that. And apparently the judge who said that Don would be immune to prosecution is also his wife is working in Keith Ellison's office as the AG of the state of Minnesota. Here's Greg Jarrett talking about what happened and how the hot water they could be in.
Yeah, it's absolutely clear. You're reading from the FACE Act, which is codified in 18 U.S.C. 247, and then the government doubled down on it for protection. They enacted 248, which basically mirrors the FACE Act with slightly different language. But the bottom line is, under both those civil rights laws, it is a crime, absolutely, to storm a church, interrupt it, and, target the worshipers.
Yeah. And then there's this, which is going to make it a whole lot worse.
I mean, this is a protected place. It's off limits. Everybody knows that. And it's a crime to invade and obstruct. And to make matters worse, Lemon later called the congregants entitled white supremacists. So that's not just despicable, Sean, but it shows they were targeted because of their race, which only strengthens the criminal civil rights violations under the face.
Well, I don't know if he actually targeted the people inside the congregation because they were white.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing.
Oh, you just want to grab him by the beard with one hand and just go like one of those punching bags, that you go in like Muhammad Ali used to use. Or you go into the bar and you see how hard you can punch. Just grab him by the beard, hold his face there, and go boogity, 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 boogity. Wouldn't you like to do that to that guy? I would love to do that sometime. Here is Greg Jarrett talking about the magistrate who is excusing Don Lemon.
Go to a real district court judge because, a magistrate is really just a ministerial assistant. He handles misdemeanors and warrants and empties the trash cans. Obviously here, prosecutors felt that Don Lemon was not merely an observer recording the illegal protest inside the church, which would be a typical journalist's role. No, instead, he seemed to be a very active participant who embedded himself with the mob, joined their cause in harassing and tormenting these parishioners.
Bought him coffee and donuts.
And in fact, Lemon's own videotape incriminates him as he confronts the pastor with contentious questions, same way the agitators did. And you can see and hear Lemon defending them all and taking up their cause, arguing they're allowed to invade the church, disrupt the service, shut down worshipers.
Well, keep your fingers for jail time. I would love to see that. It would be absolutely awesome. All right, so coming up, we got the one and only Mary Walter, and I have got a bunch of stories that I've been banking for her reaction. I promise you it'll be entertaining. Don't go anywhere. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama. He tells us about Relief Factor. Trying it for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain was gone. My pain had started to limit me at work and at home, and I'm amazed at the relief I've gotten. Those are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do. I've seen that kind of transformation myself, and hearing Brian's experience just reinforces why I'm so passionate about sharing this with you all. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Yes, they have no Maduro. They have no Maduro today. They bombed him and grabbed him. The CIA nabbed him. In handcuffs he was hauled away. Maduro has been indicted, and Venezuelans are excited because they have no Maduro. And they thank the U.S. of A. Nicholas has been captured. His freedom's been taken away. Maduro is so vile, his wife will stand trial. We are gonna make them pay. Yes, they have no Maduro. They have no Maduro today. Street protesters, we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over, run them all over, run over protesters. protesters blocking all our roads. The thump bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
Give me countdown.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Mary had a little lamb. His fleece was white as snow, yeah. Everywhere the child went, you know the lamb was sure to go, yeah.
So only Stevie Ray Vaughan could make that little story highly musically awesome. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline on this glorious Friday, because she is one of what I call the unusual suspects, Mary Walter. Hello, how are you?
Happy Friday.
So are you in the path of the White Death?
Who isn't?
I know. I've never seen anything like it. This morning I wasn't buying supplies, but I was going to get some cowboy caviar for a friend who's never had it from Trader Joe's. So I go to Trader Joe's. My God. And who buys their survival stuff from Trader Joe's? You need heirloom tomatoes to survive the storm.
Well, why couldn't your friend go to Trader Joe's and buy it?
Because I'm a nice person. Because I'm you know how I am. I was like, you never had cowboy caviar? Maybe it's because I'm from Iowa. It's like, well, you haven't. Oh my goodness. Well, you haven't had it. Well, I got to go get it for you. That's kind of how I am.
Yeah, no, I would be like, oh, you should really try it. It's at Trader Joe's. Like the next time you're there.
Yeah, exactly. Not me. I'm like, I would go and make it. I'd actually make it. It tastes just like this before, I haven't been to Trader Joe's. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and make some for you then. That's the way it is. Anyway, but
nice.
You don't get too worried about it. You grew up in this stuff, so it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah, I went to the store. I got my hair cut, yesterday.
Yeah.
It seems like I can't keep track of days. I was at the doctor's this morning, and I actually wrote down the year as 2024.
Uh-oh.
What is wrong with me?
I know.
Like, isn't that a sign? But anyway, so I had to go.
You start shaking hands with people who aren't there and wandering off stage, I'm going to worry about you.
Well, I could be president then. So So I was right by ShopRite, which is a chain of stores here, and they have the can sale twice a year, and this is the last week of the can sale. And so I wanted to go
what the can? What's that?
Well, ShopRite has the can selling lots of brands of everything in cans for quality that you can trust, from tasty corn asparagus. They have this whole thing. It's a big thing. Like the commercials play on TV, everybody can sing the song because I've been singing it since I was a kid, right? So we all know the song.
Right.
And when you're in the store, it plays all the time. So it's things like you can get 10 cans of Progresso soup for $11.
Oh. I like
you can get 4 cans of Campbell Chunky soup for $5.
What?
Yeah, and so this goes on for 3 weeks, and everything in cans is on sale all the time for the 3 weeks, although different things at different times.
I love that.
And so, like, you can buy like a case, you buy a pallet, thing of green beans or whatever. But now they've started saying how many cans you can buy, or like you have to buy 10 cans of a combination of these vegetables. But still, it's a great deal. So anyway, so I had to go in there yesterday to get more soup because I got another coupon because you can put some on. There's a whole way to work it. So anyway, I did not think people would be panic buying yet because people up here should know this, right? You know by now. It was freaking Hunger Games. You combine the last week of the can sale with it's an insane snowstorm. It was insanity. It was crazy, but everybody was being super nice and just laughing and stuff like that because it was like, what the hell is going on? Why is everybody here? And so I got to check out. You just got in the line like you had no idea it was going down the aisle.
Oh, I know.
You're just like, I'll just get in this one. So I wound up in self-checkout, and I missed the training class. So I bought these apples, and it said $2.99. So that's what it was for the bag. Yeah. But apparently you had to put. There was no scan thing to scan it, so the lady comes by and says, "Excuse me, I need help." My overseer. I had to ask my overseer for help.
Your overseer?
Yes, the person who stands there and oversees all the free help.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, and so I asked her, I'm like, these apples, it doesn't have a scan thing. She goes, oh, you just type the code in. And I'm like, where do I type the code in? There's no typing thing. Anyway, long story short, there's so much pressure because the people are behind you breathing down your neck.
Yes.
You should not talk about going on and on, all right? You. And this is the only time I have on the air today, so I'm taking it.
I'm letting you
anyway, people are breathing down your neck trying to get you to go faster. It was the most stressful thing ever. When I got out of there, I came home and had a drink.
Oh, well. I'm going to do some binge watching television, and I'm going to do the itemization for my taxes this weekend. So I'm going to be camping out at the home. I ordered, by the way, a indoor smoker. I didn't even know they existed until yesterday.
Huh? Is that allowed?
Yeah, well, what it does, it recycles the smoke and uses it and makes it into steam and all that, so you can do ribs and stuff in your house. All right, I want to talk about some other stuff. Listen, we always cover, the day's events. I got some stories that have been banking for you, just because
Okay.
So, listen to this. A new trend. Hotels are getting rid of proper bathroom doors, and guests are revolting. Well, at least the person in the bathroom. The luxury of fully closable opaque barrier between the restroom and the bedroom, checking in and finding sliding barn doors, curtains, strategically placed walls, and other replacements are happening all over the country. How would you feel if there was no bathroom door? Because I'm the kind of person that if I walked by the bathroom door when I was married, and even the door was slightly cracked, I would be like, what are you thinking? I don't want to see you pee. What do you think of this?
Wait. Well, I mean, I'm married. My husband's seen me puke. He's seen me pee.
No.
No.
Do you want to see your husband standing there?
I grew up with all brothers. Like, I've seen it all.
Lord.
Doesn't bother me.
Man, your relationship must be white hot. Woo! Yeah. Hey, honey, when you get in there in the bathroom that I can see you, come in here and make some sweet love to me.
I'm still married, Rob. You might not want to throw a stone.
Too soon. See, here's the problem with comedians. It's never too soon with comedians. It's never too soon.
So, but in all seriousness, like when I go to CPAC, I always get a room that has 2 beds because sometimes, friends that I know who live locally are like, oh, I didn't get a room, and then I got to drive back to Virginia or whatever. So I always tell some of my friends, like, hey, if you want to bring a bag, you can stay in my room because I get 2 beds.
Yes.
But I would want a door to the bathroom
You
in
would
that
think.
situation.
Oh, my God, yes.
What are they saving by not putting doors in? I don't get it.
I don't either. Here's something that I think is pretty, it's morbid, but it's kind of a great business model, okay? There's an Ohio restaurant. They opened this restaurant. It's called The Final Meal. And it is this little town called Galion, Ohio, and it's so popular, they've opened a second location. What they serve are the final meal requests of the most infamous criminals in history, like John Wayne Gacy.
Honestly, I love that.
I know it. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
I don't even slightly hate it. I think it's brilliant. Good for them, right? They thought of something different.
Yes.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. Well, they've got like the John Wayne Gacy chicken wings, strawberries, fried shrimp, and French fries. The Ted Bundy, which is a Parmesan steak loaded cheese fries. Hell yeah, I'd eat that. Eileen Warnhouse, a cup of black coffee and a cheeseburger. They had the Jeffrey Dahmer last meal, but not the last meal before he was arrested. You don't want to order that.
Oh.
You don't want to. Do not order that.
Is it just called Fred?
There's a foot sticking out. What the hell is this? It's like the wood chipper at the end of Fargo. Anyway, this guy Carl Chessman owns it. No. Actually, there's a Carl Chessman is a meal, a kidnapper, robber, and serial rapist, and you can get a cheese toasted ham and cheese sandwich and a bottle of Coke. The Timothy McVeigh. 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. You could have a Timothy McVeigh for dessert. I wonder if they do. Who was it? The bomber who lived in the cabin in the woods. I can't remember his name right now. Ted Kaczynski. I wonder if they have a Ted Kaczynski. You got to go shoot a squirrel or something. I have no idea.
I think it's brilliant. Good for this guy. Good for him. He came up with a better mousetrap. I love it.
It is actually. And look at all the true crime stuff that's out there. And I listen to, you know what I listened to across the country most of the time was old episodes of Dateline. And they're all about murder. That's what I listen to across the country. And
What did I tell you last week? Very scary people.
Yeah, they could do a show. Guy Fieri could call it Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dies. Hey, I'll be here all week. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. with Mary Walter in a second. Here's the headline. New gold rush by these investors will push prices past $5,000 this year, says Goldman Sachs. Yeah, that was a story that came out last week, and gold was $8 away from $5,000 this morning. So I'm thinking, I'm not a genius at this stuff, but I mean, honestly, if gold was $2,600 a year ago December, and it's $49.82 this morning, maybe you should invest in gold. I was looking at this 401k that I have from selling cars. I've had it for 6 years. It's gone up 20%. Really? Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be able to retire by the time I'm 103. Oh, my God. What a great idea. No, roll that underperforming IRA or 401k into gold or silver. Silver was $101 this morning. It broke $100 today. Gold, $8 away from $5,000 earlier today. Do you suppose that's going to go up, considering it was $2,600 a year ago December? Yeah. Doesn't take a genius. Doesn't take a genius. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into gold. By the way, you could be eligible for a rebate up to $10,000 if you're a first-time gold buyer. $10,000, but that offer ends at the end of the month. So there you go. We're $8 away from $5,000. Silver broke $100. What are you waiting for? Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Mary Walter, were you concerned about all the rigmarole with regard to microplastics? Do you remember when that came out the last couple of years? Microplastics are embedding themselves in your cells, and you're going to die and all that. You're concerned about that?
I was, because they told me I had a tablespoon full of plastics in my brain already. So I was concerned.
Well, that explains the forgetfulness.
It does, thinking that it was 2024 and I was set on 2020. I blame that on it being 8:30 in the morning and I hadn't had coffee yet and I was in the doctor's office. So yeah, I was really concerned about that, so much so that we had a protein drink that we loved.
Yes.
And Consumer Reports rated them and said it had like the most microplastics, like of anything you could possibly drink. Lord. So we dumped it all. We dumped it. We didn't drink it. And so like now apparently it's not a thing. So
no.
It's not. The
bombshell science that cast doubt on claims about microplastics like tobacco and asbestos before, these particles have sparked widespread. Well, I'm saying tobacco and asbestos are kind of in a different league, wouldn't you?
It depends. We don't know how they affect us, right? We don't know. We don't know.
But experts say the risks are overstated. Risks can be overstated. They're not as big as you. Well, listen, I've been drinking. I've had 6 Diet Cokes probably since I moved here. But before that, I was drinking everything out of bottles for decades, okay? Like 40 years, okay? And then all of a sudden, I'm concerned about my son was freaking out. I tried to buy some bottled water. I was taking a sip. He knocked it out of my hand and hit the wall. I'm like, what are you doing? You can't drink that!
Yeah, okay, well, that deserves a backhand. Listen, the sooner I die, the more money you get. You should let me drink as much as I want out of it.
Thank you very much.
Right? Well, but see, okay, so we never really did bottled water. I'm from Jersey. I grew up drinking well water out of a hose. That's ship sailed. But our water started to smell, and when I went to Washington, D.C., and I was drinking the water there, I got one of those water filter things that you pour the water in.
I got one of those.
Yeah, and so we do that, and we were putting it in plastic, and then we got more of the stainless containers because we didn't like the plastics. I'm like, I'm just drinking plastics now. So we got the stainless containers, and then we just, when we're done with it, we dry them out, we let them dry, and then we fill them back up.
In Washington, D.C., years ago, when you'd one of those Brita water filters, you'd pour the water in it, and then there'd be shell casings in the bottom of it. It was terrible. It was terrible for a while there. It was just awful. It was awful. This is kind of Cheryl Alfonsi and Scott Pelley's jobs are on the line after pushing back against Barry Weiss. Not a good idea. You know as well as I do in media, you don't push back against the boss. You don't, if you want to keep your job. But Pelley, I would assume, just because he's Scott Pelley and he's a journalist, they're pushing back against Barry Weiss and what she's doing there. Not a good idea. And also, have you noticed CBS News the last couple weeks?
I don't watch CBS News.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say about this is that, it's so interesting to watch because those on the left are so righteous and so, morally superior to everyone else because they're so much smarter than we are because they're educated and blah, 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 blah. So when, when they're saying like, well, Renee Good shouldn't have been shot because you can jump out of the way of a car, would lose their minds if you ran over them because they're sitting in the middle of the street protesting.
Or you can shoot the tires out and it'll stop them from running over you in 3 feet.
Right. So, like during COVID, they were saying, well, if you don't want to lose your job, then you should get the jab. So they're very, more or less, except when it goes against them. So they were all for people losing their jobs over COVID because it was conservatives who weren't taking the jab. And I've got 14, boosters by now. They were all okay with that. But now that they disagree, and now the shoe's on the other foot, now suddenly it's news.
All they've got to do is return to journalism. You can keep your job, but they do not want to do that. They're going to go down with the ship. Listen, we got to run. Mary Walter, you can Google Mary Walter Radio. I just did. You're all over the place. Where else can people find your podcast and your glorious presence online?
Okay, Tuesdays, live cast 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You can join in, ask questions, leave comments. It is live on Rumble, YouTube, and Getter. Just look for Mary Walter Radio. And Rob, I would like it noted that you saved the bathroom topic and the last meal topic for me.
Honey, I started baking this stuff a week ahead of time because I know what's going to pull your trigger. I love it. Have a glorious weekend. God bless and stay safe. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Come up with stuff. Hey guys, it's Carson. The reason why I do that with Mary is because every other guest you talk about the issues, right? Every other guest you talk about the issues and all of that. And I like Mary, and we have this kind of little brother, big sis kind of thing going here. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny because I give it to her, and she gives it right back to me, like when she said, "I'm still married." That was a superb line. Okay, just as a comedian, as somebody who does comedy. I'm not a comedian, but when I was giving her crap about leaving the door open and killing the romance in their relationship, and she goes, "I'm still married." That was brilliant. That was Ralph and Ethel and Fred and Ralph Cramden and his wife Alice. Was it Alice? Anyway, I forget it. But that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Who's watching over here, America Marcy? Rob says hello to us. Hi. I am drinking a red tea. And the reason why I'm drinking red tea is because it's the only tea we have here. Tea, there are two things that are generally very unsatisfying. One of them is tea and the other is salad. Tea and salad. Two things you just kind of like, you just have it and nobody goes, "Oh my God, I can't wait to get some salad. Can't wait to drink some tea." Sure. Oh, I got to talk.
Gonna bet 320 here.
320.
Then talk about it. Wouldn't you like a little excitement for a change? On Talk Radio 680 WCBM and WCBM.com.
Friday on the Rob Carson Show. Don Lemon thinks he's out of hot water. He's tempting Pam Bondi to come and get him. There's this magistrate who is apparently chums with the judge that says Don Lemon is going to be charged. And Jim Gossett decided to do a song about it. How's that sound?
He let Don Lemon right off the hook. Judge Douglas Nico,
wow,
liberties took. No one can understand it, how he could block arrest.
This James Taylor?
He interfered with the DOJ and made himself a pest. I got a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
He's a crooked judge.
Only Jim Gossett, people.
A simple warrant he would not approve.
Yep.
Certainly looks like one risky move. Go before the grand jury, indict Lemon today. Tell that corrupt magistrate to get out of your way. I think we can prove it, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Woo.
He's a crooked judge.
There you go. Got a nice vibe to it, don't it?
Such a crooked judge.
Yes, it does. Jim Gossett, you can help him out by going to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Jim, hopefully he'll be out on the road doing a live show near Atlanta and elsewhere. Hopefully maybe even get him out this summer somewhere we could do a show together. But help him out on Patreon, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. By the way, the Qatari jet, Air Force One, they were going to give it to us. It's already been retrofitted and all of that stuff. It'll be delivered this summer. Now, you realize this, that the company, actually Air Force One, they signed a deal in 2018 to provide 2 new jets for a total of $3.9 billion. I believe this is Boeing who did this. Delays and cost overruns have cost Boeing more than $2.3 billion, according to company financial reports. Maybe they're doing the same thing as the new Federal Reserve building. A firm date of when they can be done is not known yet, but it won't be before the next year at the earliest. But the Qataris and Donald Trump's people have put this thing together, and it's going to be ready this year. And it's not going to be over budget. And I'm sure the Democrats are going to be being and whining about it because that's how Democrats are. New ballroom. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, somebody else is going to pay for it. That's terrible. Unbelievable. Coming up, it looks like some Minneapolis and Minnesota politicians. This scandal ain't going away. There will be hell to pay. Don't go anywhere.
hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. And we got a massive storm. It's going to affect 180 million people. And, you know, it snows. It snows. It's okay. Don't freak out. You know, here's the thing. Let me explain something to you here real quick. You know who's going to end up in the ditch? People who drive four-wheel drives, who are arrogant and think that they can, drive fast in snow because they're driving a four-wheel drive. You can go in the ditch as quickly as somebody driving a, front-wheel drive Prius if you don't know how to drive in this stuff. So here's what you do. You maintain a distance, a good distance from the vehicle in front of you. You keep it slow, and and that's about it. That's about it. And if you got a two-wheel drive, forget about it. Don't go out in it. Don't go out in it. If you got a four-wheel drive, go on it. Round to Pony is a commenter on the Rumble live chat, says, my nose hairs froze this morning walking into work. This is what happens when it gets really cold. You ever done that? You ever lived in an area where you go like that and you can feel the nose hairs freeze? That's, below zero kind of stuff. I hear that's coming to the D.C. area where we are next week, so... But a big snowstorm coming in across the country and panic, death, and destruction and all that. Just chill and prepare. The only thing I'm worried about, a little bit of freezing ice is what they're saying, so ice could result in power line issues and all of that. Take care, if you got an elderly neighbor, obviously. I met this fascinating woman last night. I'm in the mailroom at my apartment complex, and I met her before, and she has a Shih Tzu. And this cute little dog, this Shih Tzu. And I said hi to the Shih Tzu. And she goes, that dog saved my life. I said, what do you mean? She goes, I had a stroke. And my little dog started barking and yada-da and all this and saved my life. And then she decided to make the dog into a service dog. A Shih Tzu is a service dog. Can you imagine that? A Shih Tzu is a service dog. So I'm talking to her. Turns out she just moved back here from Great Britain. She knows Nigel Farage. She's been on GB News. She knows Hillary Fordwich, who's a big fan of the show. I'm a big fan of hers too, by the way. And she's a conservative. She's a conservative. And she even showed me a couple news stories that she was mentioned on GB News. And apparently they know her at the White House. This little lady who, is in the mailroom. Then I met another guy, military veteran, four tours in Afghanistan. He's got PTSD. And by the way, this woman who came from Great Britain, she's a therapist. And he goes, I could use some therapy, man. I don't want to hit the bottle again because, I had 4 tours in Afghanistan. And then I told him, I said, I know a charity that can get you a service dog. And he goes, well, oh, my God, really? I said, yeah. And so my friend Paul Chappa, he's got a charity in the middle of Kansas City. It's marvelous. It's called FISH, Friends in Service of Heroes. And I texted him yesterday. I said, Paul, I got a guy. He said he doesn't want to hit the bottle again. He's got PTSD, and he's real tempted to start drinking again because he's going through all this stress. And he says, Rob, we got 2 dogs ready to go. That's what you taught. That's getting the most out of interactions in your life. How many times you go into the mailroom if you live in an apartment? How many times you get in an Uber and you don't talk to the people there? I'll tell you what, you meet some interesting people, man. And I'm probably annoying. I'm like that, that commercial that says you're becoming your parents. I'm kind of that guy, I guess. I start a conversation with anybody, about whatever. But look what you can get out of it. I met a woman from Great Britain who's a conservative, who's been on the news, had a rescue dog that saved her from a stroop. It's a Shih Tzu, became a service dog, and then a guy with PTSD is ready to start drinking again, and I find out that he needs a service dog and call my friend who has service dogs, all in the mailroom. It's kind of cool. I hope you don't mind me sharing with that with you. I think it's kind of interesting. I think people are interesting. I love meeting people. I love meeting. You know what I got? You know what I got yesterday? Are you ready for this? I got a pair. It's 2 pair. No, it's 2 sets of glasses. 1 pair for somebody's face, 1 pair for somebody's face. There you go. Smart glasses that translate language. So if there's a guy here in the office from Saudi Arabia, and I said, I'm going to bring him in on Tuesday or Monday, whenever you can get here, and you're going to put him on. I'm going to put on, you speak to me in Arabic, and I'll speak to you in English, and we'll see how it works. But I did. I wanted to be able to speak to people. Because language is a construct. Language is about to go to the way of the dodo. If you think that being a translator is going to be around forever, no. It's about to go away. Because you can translate in real time, and it's going to get to the point where you can look at somebody with glasses and you will be able to hear their voice speaking to you in your native language. It's going to happen in the next few years. It's going to happen. And language will exist as nothing more than a cultural construct to maintain your culture. That's it. That's it. And it's wonderful, by the way. You want to be able to speak, whatever. It's nice. But translation is going away. It's going away. It is. Elon Musk was talking at Davos. He's a fascinating man. If I ever get the chance to interview him, do a long-form podcast here, I'm going to. It's fascinating. Listen to this. Listen to this and these are the most extraordinary times of our lives, okay? We have some things happening that are unheard of. Elon Musk is going to build 1,000 rockets per year to go into space. Space travel is going to happen in the next few years. You and I'll be able to do it. No problem. No problem. Quantum computing is coming, and when quantum computing happens, you better be ready for it, because it learns exponentially, and then there's a thing called infinite knowledge, which is real close to God. You don't even know. Read about it, Google it, do whatever. But quantum computing gets things done like this. There's no computation. There's no little circle. There's not a beep, beep, beep. Wait. It's you type it in and it's done. Done. 1 second. Boom. Done. Immediately. All the computations. Done. I need a cure for cancer. Done. I need, whatever. Done. It's coming. It's coming. And this is moving so exponentially. Oh my God, it's so glorious. Listen to this about AI. And this will probably happen sooner than he thinks.
And then probably by 2030 or 2031, call it 5 years from now, AI will be smarter than all of humanity collectively.
We only have a number of minutes left, but I want to humanize you for a second.
All of humanity collectively. Just don't sell the technology to Cyberdyne. Okay, I'm just going to give you don't sell the technology to Cyberdyne Industries, because it's not going to be good. I mentioned earlier in the show, I want to invest in Tesla because of the robots. I know you're laughing. Oh, Rob Carson's going to invest in robots. Guys, if you're a Gen Xer and you're going to be, requiring care in 25 years, there's a real good chance that a robot's going to be taking care of you. I'm not screwing around.
Well, humanoid robotics will advance very quickly. I think we do have some of the Tesla Optimus robots doing simple tasks in the factory.
Yeah.
We accept probably later this year. By the end of this year, I think they'll be doing more complex tasks. And
I got a robot vacuum cleaner.
But still deployed in an industrial environment. and probably sometime next year, I'd say that by the end of next year, I think would be selling humanoid robots to the public. That's when we are confident that the.
Did you hear what he just said? By next year, they're going to be selling humanoid robots for people. I think it's actually a brilliant thing. Like for instance, my mom, when she was declining, her health was declining, you could have that humanoid robot there to help out, just do all sorts of stuff. It's going to get more advanced. It's going to get crazy. As long as Hal doesn't decide to lock you out, that would be it would be Hal, open the door, Hal. Hal, what are you doing here, Hal? Crazy. Finally, Elon Musk addressed the possibility of aliens. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive on this because I could talk about this forever. I've got a lot of knowledge on this because I was abducted and there was some probing. No, actually. Here is Elon Musk talking about the possibility of extraterrestrial life coming here.
I'm often asked, are there aliens among us? And I'll say that I am one, but...
Or you're from the future.
They don't believe me.
Okay.
Listen.
So, but I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me. And we have 9,000 satellites up there.
Yeah.
And not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished.
God, that guy's so amazing. Maybe it's just me. But I will tell you this, Elon, of all the things you just said there, then explain James Carville. If you can explain James Carville not being a space alien, then you got a deal. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
You still thinking job?
Arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP, more like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand, be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
With talent on loan from God, and have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine of our life, of our life, of our life.
Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this golden EIB microphone.
I got to redo it.
Donald Trump's election. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
So let me tell you something very simple. That under this administration, again, from the President of the United States, the Vice President, you have an ally in the White House. Now,
J.D. Vance at the March for Life.
Now, some of our work over the last year has been very straightforward and very easy. We started by undoing the evils we saw under the previous administration. Like, for example, throwing priests and grandmothers in prison for praying outside a clinic. That's over. We stopped it.
Yay.
Where the previous administration mandated taxpayer funding for abortions, including travel costs across the entire government, this administration ended it.
There you go. You know, in talk radio, it used to be, you don't want to talk about abortion or gun control. And no, nonsense. Abortion is... Planned Parenthood was created by Margaret Sanger. She was a eugenist and a racist, and so she wanted to use it to get rid of unwanted people, like Hitler did. And look what it did. It ended up killing 60 million babies since Roe v. Wade, and a lot of them black. Right now, the population, the black population is, hasn't changed much. It would have been much larger if it weren't for 30 million black babies being killed before they were born. And Planned Parenthoods are generally on the streets named after some of the greatest civil rights leaders of all time, on a Martin Luther King Boulevard or on a Malcolm X Boulevard, is generally, depending on the municipality, Planned Parenthood. It is. It's that way. It was that way in Kansas City when I was there. I'm trying to remember the civil rights leader, but the Planned Parenthood's right there. It's the ultimate. It's dreadful. It's dreadful, and I'm if you're just tuning in for the first time, and I haven't shared the story in a while, and I hope you won't mind. I was adopted, and I for a very long time before DNA testing came around, I did try to do the International Soundex Reunion Registry and try to get with the Kansas, or I was born in Nebraska, get with the adoption board there, and then try to get to this and that, and then not the door slammed, sealed adoption, the whole deal. In 2018, my now ex-wife got me a DNA test to find out Ancestry.com, and did the test in October, and then lo and behold, on Christmas Day, I opened up the results, and my results were in. First and foremost, I always thought that I was Irish, English, and German. Turns out I'm English, Irish, and German. And then I started finding relatives. Found out that one of my cousins, first cousin, went to school with me from like 6th grade through graduating high school. First cousin, Kelly. Yeah, it was kind of cool. And then I found out I had a half-sister. What? Yeah, it's a half-sister. Half-sister is about 15 years older than me, quite a bit older. Our biological mother had her very young, and something interesting about this, my sister was raised by her grandparents thinking that our mom, was her sister. And then at about 33 years old, my biological mother said, "I'm actually your mom." Weird. Here's where it gets pretty crazy. I met my sister and met my new biological family. They held Christmas weeks late for me to be there. It was amazing. 70 people just to meet me. And I've since gotten to know a lot of the family members, and they're wonderful people. And we went out to lunch with my sister and my niece, who lived in Kansas City, not too far from me. And she said, "Rob, I'm going to tell you something that I don't want it to destroy your life." And I went, whoa. This was when I was drinking. Okay, this is when I was drinking. And I was suffering a lot. My brother died, and whatever. A lot of stuff happened. And she said, the reason why you were given up from adoption is because mom was raped. Mom was raped. And I didn't think that it would hit me as hard as it did. I really didn't. I thought, I can handle it. But I went into the guest bedroom in the house we lived in Kansas City, the rental, the piece of crap rental, and I took a box of wine with me, and I would drink until I passed out, and then when I wake up, I drink and pass out again. It was that bad. 3 days. 3 days. Right? Nuts, right? Nuts. Then I had my healing a year or two later. But I realized what an amazing arrow it is in my quiver for life and choosing to have a child. I'm not saying that women should have to carry a baby to term when you've been raped. No, not at all. In that case, there are things you can do early to end the pregnancy. But I think the thing I'm trying to say here on this March for Life day is that when you go through abortion, you do it by yourself generally. But when you decide to have a child, you're going to be surrounded with love. You're going to have people who are going to help you because they want to save not only the baby, but you. They want to save not only the baby, but you. It is a hell of a burden for a woman to carry when the man in her life impregnates her and says, I don't want anything to do with the baby. And you're going, what the hell do I do? Or maybe you're really young. Or you're not, just not ready for it. And so generally what's going to happen is you're going to go into an abortion clinic by yourself. Nobody's going to follow up. Nobody's going to come and visit you. All of that stuff. But if you decide to have the baby, you will be surrounded with love. You really, really will. And if you win life's lottery, you're going to end up with somebody like me. I know. I don't want to set your expectations too high. I don't want to get them way up there because, kind of unique and awesomeness here is what it is. But that's my story. I haven't shared it in a while. We are adding into the audience all the time. And so I thought I'd share it with you because it is something that really, I thank God that I know it. I thank God that I know it. Even though initially it was incredibly difficult to find out and to endure. And, my life has been a whole hell of a lot of speed bumps on the way to getting here. But it's made me who I am. And I wouldn't change any of it, but I don't think I could survive it if I went through it again. I'll just tell you that. I'm glad it happened. I wouldn't change anything, but I wouldn't survive it if I had to do it again, right? Thought you should know. All right, Christian Toto's going to join us next to talk about some of the Oscar movies and whatnot. Do not go anywhere. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Free in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Shopify. You know, for years I have had a swag line of T-shirts with catchy phrases and whatnot, and it's just been lying there. Well, I've decided to go with Shopify and actually make money with my own business. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates you can customize to match your brand instead of just having a lousy website that nobody notices like I have been doing for years. Set up fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Newsmax. Go to shopify.com/Newsmax. Make building a successful business your 2026 New Year's resolution.
Greenland is a land that should be our land. That's what I have planned. Planned for Greenland. It is strategic. It's rich in minerals. Greenland was made for you and me. I'd like to own it, but Denmark's wary. Might have to use the military. Security, it would provide it. Greenland was made for you and me. Once we own it, we could rename it. Could call it Trump land or even Don land. It's gonna happen. It will be ours soon. Greenland was made for you and me. Greenland was made for you and me.
It is a Rob Carson Show, joining us on the Newsmax hotline, another one of our unusual suspects on Friday. From Hollywood and Toto, Christian Toto, how are you, my friend?
I am well. Glad to be here, as always.
It'll be a good weekend to do some binge watching, won't it?
Oh, God, yeah, I know. I'm trying to... My kids are in this weird phase where they don't watch movies with their dad, and it's driving me crazy.
No!
There are so many beloved movies, so many 80s movies I want to watch with them again and again, and they're giving me trouble, man. I don't know what I can do.
Welcome to it, bro. You're not as cool anymore to them. Yeah, you know, you used to be the sun, the moon, and the stars. Guess what? You're not even a comet now. You're not even a meteor that burned out in the atmosphere.
I've actually bribed them a time or two. Hey, I'll get you some Chipotle if you want to.
Hey, let's order some Papa John's. Papa John's, everybody. So, obviously the Oscars, and people don't watch the Oscars, but people do watch movies. And I the movie centers, I've watched it probably 6 times. I watched it again last weekend just to see Michael Jordan's outfits, because I want to dress like Michael Jordan in that movie. My God, he's a freaking sharp-dressed man. But 16, this is a horror movie. A horror movie. 16 unbelievable about this movie.
It is. I think it was 91 or 92 where Silence of the Lambs swept the major awards.
Yeah.
It was a horror movie, no doubt. But, horror movies rarely get love from the Oscar voters. Sinners is an exception. As you witnessed, it's a really good movie, so I'm glad it's getting a lot of love and attention. But listen, that number is kind of obscene from an Oscar point of view. It's not that good. It's not Citizen Kane. But I'm glad it's being recognized. It's worthwhile. It's an original movie, an original story, very talented people in it, and that's where Hollywood should be going. And by the way, people saw it. It was a big hit. It wasn't one of these artsy movies that no one saw.
I thought it was just I disagree. I thought it was a brilliant movie. I thought the scene where they went in the speakeasy and they're dancing on the floor and they go through the history of black music. And Jimi Hendrix all of a sudden pops up, and you're like, "Oh my!" And I watched that the other, and I'm like, "God, that's brilliant! It's brilliant!" Plus, they also weaved in the story the legend of Robert Johnson disappearing and coming back as a guitarist after selling his soul to Satan. They worked that in there. It reminded me of something of Baz Luhrmann. It reminded me of Baz Luhrmann's Elvis stylishly. It did.
Mm-hmm. It's got everything. It's interesting. It works in layers. It's got music. It's got culture. It talks about racism in a way that's real and raw, but it doesn't overwhelm the story. It's not a finger.
No. It doesn't beat your head. It doesn't beat you over the head with. Frankenstein also got nomination. Another horror movie, and I thought that was a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool version of Frankenstein. Completely original Frankenstein.
It is, and there's a movie coming out in a few weeks called The Bride with Christian Bale. And that one's going to be rather interesting, Bride of Frankenstein. I think the two seem to be very different in style and tone, and they're not exactly complementary on paper, but listen, it's Frankenstein's monster, so it's...
Well, the original Bride of Frankenstein, all she did was scream. All she did was scream. She didn't do anything. In this one, they've updated it. She rides his ass about doing stuff around the house, and then finally she dumps him and takes half a castle. It's ridiculous.
The nag of Frankenstein.
I was disappointed that Kevin O'Leary did not get a Best Supporting for Marty Supreme. I thought he did a really good job.
And listen, he just made a high-profile, well-received acting performance. He's going to get more work for sure.
I thought he was very good, very, very good. A couple of other stories, because I know our time is nigh today. It's a little shorter than usual. This is kind of sad, actually. Matt Damon says Netflix wants movies to restate the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue because, are you ready for this? Viewers are watching the movie while they're on their cell phones. What the hell?
That's modern life, man. I'm about to watch my kids. If I get my kids to watch a movie with me, there's going to be a second screen involved, sadly, I bet.
Oh, my God.
Dad slaps away from them.
That is ridiculous. But think about how that is for an actor. Listen, I do a little TV show on Newsmax. And I get all sorts of butthurt when I'm told, Rob, you got to do this. Rob, you got to do that. You want to hear what happened this week? I had to do a recut, and I accidentally put on the wrong shirt. And so they catch it, and they say, Rob, you got to get that shirt, change the shirt, or we have to retape the entire show. And I said, well, the shirt's at the dry cleaners. So I had to go to the dry cleaners. To get the shirt. Got this little Chinese woman. She's like, "Why do you want the shirt? Why do you want the shirt?" I got to have it. Just go dig it out of the basket, and I'll press it. So I would be very.
Star man. That's the trials and tribulations.
I would be, but honestly, you tell me, we need you to restate the plot of the movie. Just remind everybody because they're really not watching. You know what? Have you ever given a speech when people are eating? It's not good. If you ever tried to do a speech at a banquet, you cannot compete when people are eating, and now you got the cell phone. It's just ridiculous.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they were talking to Joe Rogan about this. They know the industry very well, and some of their thoughts and some of their predictions and some of their observations are just plain sad. But it is the way we are today. We can't deny it.
By the way, I think I'm going to be going to the Trump Kennedy Center to see the debut of Melania. And it's kind of interesting. You got the headline. Melania was doomed from the start. It may not matter, politically divisive, but at the same time, you got Zohran Mandami's friggin' documentary. A new documentary will chronicle openly Zohran Mandami's rise to New York mayor. I could give a rat's behind about Zohran Mandami, but I think Melania is going to be great.
I think so, too. It'll be fascinating. By the way, watch for the critics who react to the first movie, Melania, and then the Mamdani documentary. It might be slightly different in their takes. Slightly.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think she's gorgeous, and I'm hopefully going to be broadcasting from there. How cool would that be? How would be cool? This is kind of sad. Now, in Shakespearean times, Dylan, I called you Dylan. I've got Dylan Mulvaney is who I was going to talk about, Christian. but in Shakespearean times, women could not act, so they would have men dress up like women. That's where drag kind of started, right? And then in the early 20s, black actors, so white guys would put black face on. Dylan Mulvaney is going to be making a Broadway debut in a musical Six as a woman. Do you find this to be a little bit insulting to women for a guy to play a woman actually, and it's not a guy playing a woman, it's a guy who says he's a woman playing a woman. What do you think?
I think I'm numb to these headlines.
I know, right?
I think I want to get off this plane.
I've got a headache. It's right here in the temple. I need to apply a little pressure. All right. Well, if you get snowed in, I'm going to remind you again, pluribus is always good, especially since your kids don't want anything to do with you anymore.
I'll be all alone watching pluribus this weekend, apparently.
All right. Hey, it was great to have you on. Where can everybody find your podcast? And, of course, HollywoodInToto.com. Go ahead.
Yeah, go to the website or just punch in Hollywood in Toto in YouTube and check it out. I also have a new short on the Hollywood, which has got a zinger aimed at Tim Waltz. I'll say no more.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to check it out. Have a great weekend, bud. I appreciate you. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. wanted to watch some of the testimony on Capitol Hill yesterday, Jack Smith, and then, of course, Troy Nehls was calling out the J6 Capitol Police who were there in the hall that he was speaking in. You know, obviously, there were some shenanigans. There were some Trump supporters who were murdered, in case you didn't know. And one of these is this creep named Michael Fannin. He's a complete creep. He's a fake. He's a private school boy who grew a beard and got some tattoos, tries to be a good old boy, tries to think he's tough and everything. And he's actually dangerously unhinged. He's mental. He's mental. And yesterday in Congress, Troy Nehls decides to, say, hey, you know what, you Capitol Police officers, you're not going to get away with what you think you got away with. And so what did this Fanon do? He coughed. Remember, somebody says, bull, like that, except for he said, go bleep yourself in front of a congressional hearing. This creep. And he's a very frightening man. If I were, around him as a friend, or I wouldn't be his friend. But he's a dangerous, dangerous individual. Listen to this.
I would like to quickly address the police officers of January 6th. Mr. Dunn, Mr. Fanon, Mr. Gonell, Mr. Hodges. I'm a member of the new select committee to actually examine what happened that day. And I can tell you, gentlemen, that the fault does not lie with Donald Trump. It lies with Yogananda Pittman and the U.S. Capitol leadership team.
Yep.
We know they had the intelligence, and there was going to...
Yeah, to a congressman. He clears his throat and says, go after yourself.
Yogananda Pittman and the U.S. Capitol leadership team. We know.
Wow.
They had the intelligence, and there was going to be a high propensity for violence that day. Claim my time, yeah.
You will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas.
Should have hauled his ass out.
We've had some disruptions already. We don't need that. Let the gentleman may continue.
We know the Capitol leadership team, specifically Yogananda Pittman, had the intelligence, and there was going to be a high propensity for violence that day.
It was a setup. Reichstag. I told you on January the 7th. I said, it's set up. It's the Reichstag. The Republicans came together, 1 million of them. They never show the crowd size. They never show the crowd size near the Washington Monument. They never show the 1 million people who were so concerned about democracy because they knew that election was not fair. They knew going to bed that night, that election night, Donald Trump way out in front, and then all of a sudden, the battleground states stopped counting the votes. Oddly enough, they told you for months ahead of time to set you up that the election was going to be completely free and fair, and if you were going to question the results, there's something wrong with you. So they set it up a long time ahead. I can say it now. It's not disinformation. I can say it now. And then they silenced us completely the day after I told you I lost my social media. I didn't even make a post, but they wanted to shut down my speech. Then they took away my Facebook page altogether, lost all the followers and everything. All of them gone. And then Donald Trump said he had peacefully to the Capitol, and then everybody was gathered in the Capitol, and the barricades were torn down, and there were people there wearing flak jackets and helmets and having grappling hooks, and those are only Antifa, generally, because Trump supporters don't do that. And then the police started firing flashbang grenades and tear gas into the crowd, even though they were peaceful. And meanwhile, they opened the doors to them and told them to come in. And then once they got in, they surveilled them. They saw their faces. And the next couple of years, they went after every single person on the Capitol ground and kept people in prison for 4 years without a trial. Some of them missing their medical treatments. One man who was released died of the cancer that he had they didn't treat while he was in jail. There are others who spent 4 years there being moved to multiple prisons. That's the Bastille. That's the Bastille. And this guy, Fanon, I hope that he talks a little too much smack with somebody who just gives him a beat down, because he is a creep supreme. He is a really grotesque person. He's actually calling on people to fight, to declare a civil war, talking about ICE agents. Michael Fanon, it's time to shoot ICE agents. Okay, here's what he said. If you're not going to do it, then it's time for the American people to organize and utilize their Second Amendment right to protect themselves from what has clearly become an unaccountable and lawless agency that's killing Americans. That's all a lie. This guy is a psycho. This guy is a psycho. Anybody who tattoos clear up to like under their chin, not exactly right. I could say that now. I could say, and women who have a lot of tattoos all over the body generally have a lot of issues. I know. Oh, you're not good. What are you talking about? Really? Fanone, he's compensating for something that isn't there. Yeah. Yesterday, Jack Smith was being questioned on why 6 months before the election, he decided that he would dump 14 million documents on Trump's defense team and rush a trial so it would happen before the election.
How many pages per day is that? 100,000? Does that sound about right? What if we break that down per hour? It's 4,166 per minute is 70 pages. You like to read, sir? You like to read?
I do.
Do you read 70 pages a minute?
I do not.
I mean, that would be remarkable. So how do you prepare for a trial in 5 months if you're asking the defense?
Jack Smith said he wanted to assure Donald Trump has a speedy trial. He also wanted his defense to be overwhelmed and unprepared.
Defense counsel to read 70 pages a minute. How do you do that and prepare a defense and look at all the witness testimony and video evidence that you supposedly had?
Oh, I hope he gets a little bit more, and I hope he ends up spending some time in jail. Here is Jonathan Turley, legal expert, George Washington University, about why they did this.
There were other points in that hearing which left me dumbfounded. For example, he was asked, why did you dump millions of pages on the Trump team, then move for this quick trial before the election? And with a straight face, he said,
before the election, okay.
I was just trying to give Trump his right to a speedy trial.
Bull crap.
The Trump team had asked for the time to review these documents. It was abundantly clear to everyone that he was trying to get the trial before Trump faced the voters, because if he was reelected, his case would then die. And that was obvious, but he said under oath, no, I was just trying to carry out a speedy trial agenda. It was just crazy.
Yeah, they tried to pin January the 6th on him. They had 3 other political trials before the election. They tried to take him off the ballot, and they tried to murder him. All of that. And look what they did. They did a faceplant just in time for the most glorious year of our lives, the 250th anniversary of the birth of our nation. Karma is a B word. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Fanone is a psycho. Fanone is a psycho. I would not want to be around him, particularly if he's drinking. He's that kind of a person. He's a very dangerous, unhinged person. He's a very dangerous person. There was from Lindell TV, a woman confronted him yesterday, and he turned and got in her face and called her an F and this and an F and that. So anyway, let's see. The pandemic hit just before the election. Yeah, of course. Jack Smith is a lying piece of human waste. Oh yeah, 100%. Round of Bunny says, have a great weekend. Stay warm. Yes. I'm going to go get my generator out and just have it ready. And by the way, they're saying 6 to 12 inches of snow here in the D.C. area. All right. What are we looking at here? Dookie Bear, good to see you as always. Got some good conversations going. You guys have been very active today. And Ken, my producer, Redneck MacGyver, said, we ought to do this on Fridays all the time, and because we've had some fun. We've been, I lean into comedy because it's what I do. I'm the only person who does it. But, today I had some breathing room. Today we had some serious news, but I had a little breathing room. So if I can have a little more fun once in a while, it's kind of nice. Doesn't mean I don't prepare. Doesn't mean I don't prepare. Because I do. I was in the studio on the computer until 10:30 last night, gathering audio and reading and whatnot. Here we go. It's time for me to talk. Here we go. Wow.
6 on Talk Radio 680 WCVM.
Here we go.
Gonna have about 3 minutes here.
All right, so come up a minute. We're going to wrap up the show with the best song parody of the week from Jim Gossett. How's that sound? Does it sound good? All right. Gold is $3.30 away from $5,000. Thought you should know that. Oh, my God. Wow. Unbelievable. It was $48.92. Then it's now it's $7.30, whatever. So, yeah, about $3 away from $5,000. And you've let a year go by. You could have bought it at $2,600. You might want to get on the gold train. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Yeah, that's where it is. Just shy of $5,000. Unbelievable. Silver's pushing $1.02 or $102. $102 for silver, worth $30 last year. It was worth $30 last year. I looked at my 401k from when I sold cars. It's gained 20% in about 6 years. I know. Anyway, you can text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. If you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold will offer a rebate up to $10,000, a little bonus on top of the massive growth and all that. So again, take advantage of this great offer. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold before it hits $5,000, and it looks like it could happen today. Best song parody of the week about Greenland and our glorious president, featuring Jim Gossett.
What can make us safer?
What can make us safer?
In the hemisphere.
In the hemisphere.
Sing along.
What can force the Russians and Chinese to watch their rear? Greenland.
Greenland.
Oh yes, Greenland can.
Greenland can.
We'd like to buy it and make it so much better, like we said we would.
And we certainly will.
A deal I'd like to make. I don't want to take Greenland with the military.
Nah, we'll just take it.
Hope that isn't necessary. A conflict there would be quite scary.
Yeah, it wouldn't last very long either because we kicked their butts.
What could be strategic?
What could be strategic?
To the USA.
To the USA.
Come to the table, Denmark. We could make a deal today for Greenland.
Greenland.
You should sell us Greenland.
You should sell us Greenland.
All right, that's going to do it for the show, guys. I'm going to go ahead and say that my TV show, Rob Carson's What in the World, is on Newsmax Sunday night at 8:30, just when you'd expect a comedy show to air. In the meantime, God bless you. America has founded Donald Trump, and this glorious country is in our 250th year. And until Monday, stay safe. It'll be snowy. And don't catch the stupid. Love you guys. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.